Hey everyone, it's Caitlin and welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to show you 2 ways to cook tofu that don't suck. Okay, honestly, I will admit most vegan and vegetarian chefs or cooks know how to cook tofu and know how to make it flavorful, but I see a lot of comments out there about people complaining that tofu is bland or gross or boring. And if you think that way about tofu, you're probably cooking it wrong. Tofu is essentially like a blank canvas. It doesn't have much flavor to it, so you have to season it with other things, which makes it great because it's a vessel for so many different varieties of cuisines and flavors. And if you really think about it, it's exactly like meat. I don't really see anyone going around eating plain steamed chicken or plain turkey without any other oil or salt or seasoning to it. So why would you expect a plant-based protein to be like that as well? We usually like things because of the seasonings we add to them, and tofu is great for that. Another common complaint that I hear is that tofu is spongy or has like a weird texture to it. And I will admit, if you're eating like raw, unseasoned tofu, it is kind of strange, and that would definitely be an acquired taste. However, I recommend that you always bake or air fry your tofu. That's what I always do when I cook it, because it helps it get a really nice crispy texture on the outside, but it still remains slightly soft on the inside. Another thing I would recommend is that you press your tofu, which is when you put a weight on it and it pushes some of the extra liquid that is in the tofu out, just like water. But this allows the seasonings and flavors and marinades that you use to penetrate the tofu more and make it more flavorful. I do have a few more tips like this, but I'm going to share those along with the recipes, so let's just get straight into those.
First, we're going to make some crispy orange tofu. And to start out, we're going to be making a healthy orange sauce. So in a blender, you're going to add some orange juice. I use fresh squeezed orange juice, some maple syrup, some tamari, some rice vinegar, orange zest, red chili flakes, garlic, ginger, and 3/4 of a small white onion. Then you're just going to blend that up, and then once it's a smooth mixture, you're going to pour it into a saucepan and then bring this to a boil. And once the mixture starts to boil, you're going to make a slurry in a separate small bowl with some cornstarch and water, and then just add that into the pot. Then you're going to cook it down until it becomes thicker. And do keep in mind that the sauce will thicken even more as it cools. And now on to the tofu portion. So to make our crispy tofu, we're first going to bake our tofu in the oven. And I wanted to show you guys a hack that actually helps to make your tofu more crispy, and that is freezing your tofu. And that may sound weird, but my mom always does this and it does work really well. It helps get some of the extra liquid out. So as you can see, when you open a tofu container, the tofu itself is in a decent amount of liquid. So you can freeze the whole thing, but I don't really like to do that. I like to drain my tofu, and then from there, I will just put it in a Ziploc and put that in the freezer, and it takes less time to thaw. So once your tofu is thawed, you're just going to press it, and as you can see, the tofu kind of looks more spongy. It's not going to taste spongy, but as you can see, there are like more air holes in it, which means more water has left the tofu. So after that, you can just chop it up into pieces. I like to cut my tofu into bite-sized pieces, so I cut the block in half, like lengthwise, and then I cut it into smaller cubes. So to prepare our tofu for the oven, we're just going to put it into a bowl. And then this part is really simple. We're just going to add some nutritional yeast and a little bit of tamari, and then mix that together until all of the tofu is evenly coated in all of the spices. This is my pretty much base recipe for all of my tofu. I love the flavor it adds to it, and adds a nice golden color too. So you're just going to put this onto a lined or greased baking tray. I'm using a silicone mat. I do think this helps my tofu get a little bit more crispy. So you're just going to bake that in the oven for 15 minutes. Then you're going to flip the tofu and pop it back in for another 15 minutes. And then once your tofu is finished, you're going to toss it with some of the orange sauce. As you can see, the tofu got super crispy. And the next tofu recipe, I didn't freeze the tofu, so you guys can see the difference in freezing versus non-freezing. So you can serve this tofu however you would like. This is what the finished product looks like. It's crispy, it's healthy, it's delicious, it's full of protein. I don't know, just tastes really good. That's all that matters, right? Just kidding, our health is important too, but yes. Anyways, I decided to make a sort of tofu Buddha bowl. And like I said, you can do whatever you want, but I just cooked some rice. I did some short grain brown rice, and you know, you guys should know how to cook rice. Once it's boiling, you cover it, blah, 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 blah. And then I also decided to steam some broccoli. So I just put some water in a larger pot and then put in some fresh broccoli and steamed that until it was nice and tender. And then once you're finished, just serve it up with your crispy tofu, and you could drizzle in some more of the healthy orange sauce. So this is what the frozen tofu looks like on the inside. As you can see, it has a less, I guess, mushy sort of texture. The outside gets really crisp. So that's it for this first recipe, and now we're going to make some buffalo tofu. I feel like most tofu has Asian flavors to it, so I wanted to do something that was a little bit different. So this time I didn't freeze my tofu, but I still chopped it up into chunks and I put it into a bowl. And as you can see here, the tofu kind of looks more smooth than the frozen tofu, which had more of an airy texture to it. So we're just going to add in some nutritional yeast and a tablespoon of tapioca flour or cornstarch into the bowl, and then just stir that until the tofu is evenly coated. And then we're going to add in some buffalo hot sauce. We're going to use hot sauce, not wing sauce. And again, like the orange tofu, we're just going to put this onto a baking tray and bake it for 15 minutes. And then in the meantime, I'm going to be making a salad with this tofu, but I wanted to roast some corn, so I was trying to be efficient with my time. And I cooked my corn in a nonstick skillet, and this is super easy. You literally just add corn to the pan and it will slowly blacken. You don't need to add anything else to it, and it smells really good and tastes even better. So I just set that aside to cool off so I could add it to my salad, and then the tofu was ready to be flipped. So I took it out of the oven, flipped it, and then baked it for another 15 minutes. Then during the second 15-minute interval, I decided to make some ranch dressing for my salad. So I used some hemp seeds, nutritional yeast, onion powder, garlic powder, salt, and black pepper. Then I just added a little bit of water to that, and I blended it until it was a nice and smooth consistency. And then from there, I just added in some fresh herbs. So we have some chopped parsley and dill. Then I just gently pulsed that into the dressing because I didn't want to blend it completely. And by this point, our tofu was done. So I put it in a bowl, and then I tossed it in 1 more tablespoon of hot sauce just to make sure it was nice and juicy. And from there, again, you can eat this however you want. You don't have to make a salad, but I decided to make a salad because, you know, it kind of makes it like slightly healthy. I don't know, I just like salads, I guess. But the salad is super easy. You're just going to need some shredded lettuce, some carrots, some of that roasted corn, cucumber, celery, and our ranch dressing. And then we're just going to mix all of this together until everything is well incorporated, and you can add dressing to taste. Some people like their salads with more dressing, you do you. And then yeah, just put it in a bowl and top it with a crispy tofu. I decided to top mine with an extra serving of black pepper because I like things spicy, and I also added in some hemp hearts as well. That was mostly for the Instagram photo, so if I'm being honest. And there you have it. I did want to compare the inside of this tofu though. So as you can see here, it is a little bit more soft and silky as opposed to the frozen tofu. So now you know, and you can decide what you want to do for yourself.
And that is it for this video. Be sure to leave a comment below and let me know which recipe you liked more and which one you want to make first. And lucky for you, if you're looking for even more tofu recipes, I already have a ton on my blog, including a Thai curry red soup with crispy tofu, sheet pan fajitas with chipotle lime tofu. I will have all of those linked in the description below, as well as the recipes from this video. Sometimes I get comments where you guys complain that I didn't write out the recipe, but the whole recipe is linked in my blog post, and that way it's a lot easier for you to go back to and bookmark and share on Pinterest or print for later if you don't like to look at it on the screen. Finally, if you like this video and want to see more tofu recipes from me, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel and like what you see here, feel free to hit that little subscribe button right down there. I post 2 new videos every single week with easy vegan recipes, budget-friendly grocery hauls, tips for vegan lifestyle, vlogs, tons of stuff like that. So you don't really want to miss out on the fun, do you? Maybe you do. Maybe you're just not a fun person. Okay, other than that, I just want to say thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye!